Hello everyone, welcome to another beautiful session with me. I'm Sanyukta Saxena, and today would be the second session of our twin tangle series which we started yesterday, and we just randomly picked up two tangles and started to tangle. Yes, I have a square tile in front of me, a white square tile. You can choose to work on any other type of file, and I have this box of chits and I'm going to just pick up two chits randomly. Yes, whatever was there. Whatever I could see first, I just picked it up, and I see Warble and I see Punzel. Yes, I see two tangles today, Warble and Punzel. So let's get started with today's session, and I'm going to be probably starting with a border. So just put your four corner dots, make sure you're sitting comfortably with adequate lighting. Relax yourself, relax your hands before we get started with our tangling. Yes. So I'm going to add one more set of lines like this. Yes. And I'm going to start drawing my punzel across my tile, and then probably the rest of the space can be used for the tangle warble. So punzel is an extension of the tangle changing. Yes. So I'm going to first draw the tangle changing. Have fun when you draw the tangle changing. The only thing you have to keep in mind that the next set of lines, this line is almost perpendicular to the previous set of lines. Yes, so it's almost perpendicular. Again, come down. The shape doesn't matter, you can maneuver it the way you want. These are tiny little spaces which are formed in between. They can be big, they can be small. So I'm running across my tile, drawing the tangle changing. Punzel is an extension of the tangle changing. So we are first drawing the tangle changing. Yes. So once you're done drawing the tangle changing, then you just have to extend these ends like this. Extend the tangle changing. So as if this line is going under and coming out. Yes, that's what I'm doing. As if this line is going under and coming out. So as I mentioned, you can give as much curve as you want, or you can just keep it less curvy, less bulging. So just play around with the shape. It's entirely your choice. How do you want your punzel to look like? And that's it. Yes, that's the tangle punzel. I think I left one here. Yeah. Now there are tiny little spaces in between, so you can either choose to ink it, or I have switched to a finer nib and I am adding very tiny orbs, very tiny tipples inside there. So it's entirely your choice. You can add black and then add small little dots with your GellyRoll to give it a mystic feel. You can do that also. Take your time. Slowly go to each of those in between spaces. Tiny intersectices formed as you draw the tangle punzel. And fit in those small orbs. Really tiny tipples. like this. Yeah. Now if you want to add a little more to the look, you can always add something more. For example, I can add a shape like this. Yes, adds to the look. You can add any other embellishment, whatever you feel like adding at that point of time, or you can leave it as such. So I'm adding a sword kind of a shape, a pointed shape, basically mimicking the shape, the outer shape, adding a thin aura inside. Yes, and then you can very comfortably do it on the other side. Go with the size of your Punzel. So if the size is small, the shapes are small. The aura inside will also be tiny and small. So this is an enhancement, adding to the look of my tangle by adding small tiny things. This is basically an inner aura. You can also choose to not ink it so that it looks like a hollow. Just like a cut. Yes. Like this. Now let us extend our tile a little more. So I'm now using the pencil line as a reference, double lining it. If you want, you can add some bit of coffering. Yes, it's an enhancement technique. It's not a tangle in itself. It's a way to enhance the look of your tile. It's a technique. So I have given a coffered look inside, and then I'm going to do the same thing outside before I go ahead and add my Tangle Warble. Done that, again I'm going to double line it. Like this. Yes, and now let us draw the Tangle Warble here. So as far as the Tangle Warble is concerned, it is drawn inside a square grid. So I'm going to divide this section into squares. It would be nice to first go to the corners and then accordingly divide the rest. Like this. Yes, and then you have to add curves like this. Ink the curves. So this adds that much required drama to the tile. And then if you want, you can add a rough line with your pencil because that line is not inked. And then just aura the curve that you drew. That's the Tangle Warble. Yes, let's do that for all the sections. Like this, and then you can just draw a pencil line for reference and then add further auras. The third one, the fourth one. Just have to continue in the same fashion. This one is kind of hidden. Like this. Yes, and then for reference, that line, if you can do without it, please go ahead. As it is, we are going to use that pencil line for shading also. That's why I thought probably. So hidden there, just drawing some of the auras that can be seen. Drawing behind. And I think nothing else can be seen here. Again, continuing. Take your time. Yeah, let's do this much. I'm going to ink all first and then probably we can draw the auras. So I'm almost finishing my inking part before we go ahead and add the auras. And the last one here. And working with my O1, spaces are small, gives us more control. Oh, few more left here, so let's quickly ink it. Take your time. And we are almost done. With the inking. Yes. Now, as I mentioned, just for the sake of reference, you can draw this line if you think it's required. If you think you can manage without it, please go ahead. So I'm going to now add auras just the way I showed you. Auraing the rice, the half rice or the seed shape. Yes, slowly take your time. like this. So I'm done adding the auras, and this is how the Tangle Warble looks like. Now the inside space here, it is entirely your choice. What do you want to do? Probably a filler tangle is always welcome. I'm not going to add any other tangle, just a few tipples here and there. Since we added tipples inside here also, our punzel. So I'm just going to be placing a few tipples, and that's about it. Not do anything else. Yes. So let's now shade our tile. So as far as shading the punzel is concerned, wherever lines seem to be going under, over, are the places where you have to add the graphite. I'll change my pencil to a sharper one. So that's how you would generally shade your changing and punzel. You would highlight the overlaps. However, you can also add shade here. Yes, and the tips of these shapes can also be shaded. We shall see, since spaces are small, we don't want to make the entire thing gray. So let's see, if required, we can add some shadow here also. Slowly go to each of the places where you added the graphite, and you can see the intersections start to pop up. Yes, looks beautiful with this kind of a shading. Coming next to warble, we are going to add shade on one side like this. So this gives a beautiful dimension to the tangle. It looks like it's folded at the place from where lines are turning. Yes. Again. You can shade it differently also. For example, shade both the ends of the triangles formed. Yes, you can shade it that way also. Coming to the coffered look, that's how you generally shade your coffering. Make sure you leave a highlight in between. Very tiny spaces, what is already there on your stub may be sufficient. If you want to highlight things a little more, the bigger orbs can be converted into black pearls or caviars. Like this, you can redo some of the lines after you have shaded, always a good idea to revisit lines. Tiny little spaces in between. You can also revisit this line, adding a little more depth, little more weight here. Here we need not do anything because it's already inked. Again, revisit the lines wherever required. After you have shaded, important to do that, to re-emphasize, to redefine lines. We have not blended here. Yes. So I'm just going around the lines, adding that extra zen after I have done the shading. The lines go hazy, so it's a good idea to revisit them. Like this. Yes, you can always add tiny dots here. And I don't think we need anything else. Yes, we don't need to do anything else to this style. If you want to add something inside the coffered thing that we did, probably any tangle inside the coffered look, you can do that, but I'm going to stick to 2 tangles only. Yes, some bit of embellishments if you require, if you feel like doing, you can use your O5 and add some bit of dots here, or you can add some tiny dots here. That's your choice. Yes. Probably you don't need to do it for all. Just a few. So I'm going to close my tile here, put in my chop, or you can write your name. Always sign and date your tile. I shall see you again with some more interesting sessions. Till then, have a good time. Bye-bye.